It's a very, very small group of people, many of them clueless.
Hi everybody, it's Gene Simmons, and you're not. This is Kiss My Collectibles podcast, but you know that.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Kiss My Collectibles. I am one of your co-hosts, Jason Herndon, and with me, as always, is Joe Lalich.
Here I am. Same as always.
Yep.
Same as it ever was. What's going on?
Never getting any better for you, is it?
No.
All right. Well, I appreciate your enthusiasm, and so does the audience.
Just to be clear, this is all you're gonna get.
I get it. That's all we get. Look, folks, this isn't some kind of thing he does for the show.
Yeah.
This is how he is all the time. This is what
everybody. Everybody wishes this was a character, but unfortunately,
he's pleasant.
This is a Thursday. Yeah,
that's right. And also joining us, as always, is our friend Nicholas Buckland.
Hi. I thought you were about to. I think we caught the moment where you had a mini stroke on the show because you kind of went, "This is."
I forgot.
Jason Herndon. What I was this weird pause in the middle of us. Oh my God, what's happened? It's had an aneurysm live on KMK. Yeah.
That's probably how I'm destined to go out, though. But I forgot what I was supposed to say.
Like a well-oiled machine.
That's right.
Nothing's funnier than a debilitating medical condition.
Yeah.
So, and Joe's going, I unquit this show for this.
Oh, man.
I never understood how bands couldn't get along and why they didn't want to hang out and keep going. And now I totally get it.
Get it, yeah. Thanks.
Just fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Doing it
and we don't spend that much time together.
No, thankfully.
Yes.
Can you imagine being in a bus with me?
Oh, no.
Everybody would be dead.
I'd have pushed you out the back door a long time ago.
But between Iowa and Roanoke, the whole bus would just be smeared with other people's blood.
I'd be annoying everyone doing Jim Carrey. Is this the most annoying sound in the world?
Yes. Yes, you are.
Just to be clear, you'd be the first one I'd kill, Nicholas.
I know that.
Your body is small and easier to hide.
It's that overhead luggage thing. You just fold me up and put.
That's right. I need at least one other person's help to have me help get rid of Jason.
Oh, you're gonna need more than one. So. You're actually gonna have to kill me first because you're gonna need Nicholas to carry me out.
All right, I'll work on the order I kill you guys later.
All right, that's fair enough. All right,
that's the theme of today's show.
On this episode, we're gonna do a collector spotlight, which we haven't done in a long time. I can't remember. Maybe.
By the way, I know that intro is going to be used in one of my trials.
Oh
boy,
that's good.
All right,
here we go. Don't get too enthused, Joe.
When does the show start? When are we starting?
I'll let you know. We'll cue you in. So, but anyway, yeah, collector spotlight. I think, I don't remember. Maybe Dave Scott was the last one we did. I can't remember. It's been a long time. But yeah, we're gonna do a collector spotlight, and joining us on this episode in the Kiss Collector Spotlight is our friend George Navarro.
Hey,
how are you, George?
What's up?
Since I'm in this conversation, am I just an accessory now?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
At the very least, you're going to have to take the stand.
Okay.
That's right.
Yes.
Good way to start this.
I don't even know this guy.
Yeah.
He just killed everybody.
I just showed up and look where I'm at.
Exactly.
Why did it have to be this show?
All because I wanted to do a stupid Kiss podcast.
Yes, exactly.
What was I thinking? So George works with Nicholas quite a bit on finding new things for everything Kiss, and he has his own websites and everything. We'll talk about that and plug that whenever you want to. But as we do on these collector spotlights, is we're going to sit down and just talk to George about how he got into Kiss, how he got into collecting. And if you can't tell behind him, George is one of the guys who collects a lot of new merchandise. So we thought this would be a really good opportunity to talk about collecting new versus vintage, or a mix of both. Why you do this, why don't you do that? Because this show is 99% vintage. And even though I collect some newer stuff, I pick and choose. And I know Joe doesn't collect any of that stuff, and Nicholas doesn't anymore. He did at one time, but he doesn't anymore. And, we're kind of mainly vintage based. So it'll be interesting to have this conversation about
Well, sort of. Well, Joe does collect modern, because he would collect some 2014 releases, and if new things came out and you actually liked them, you would collect. So technically, I suppose this is more in the vinyl space, isn't it, Joe? Like, you'll still collect modern Kiss stuff that comes out if you like it.
Yeah, it's hit and miss for me, but I'm certainly not a consistent modern vinyl collector by any stretch. But yeah, I'll pick up pieces for now and again.
Yeah, I guess in the vinyl world, it's a different kind of thing, and I guess this is more merchandise.
Yeah.
Kind of. I think we kind of view merchandise as vintage, which is 1982 back. And then modern is 96 up, and then the non-makeup years just kind of, there wasn't a whole lot there. It just kind of gets stuck in the middle there somewhere. So, and you get some collectors that, like John, one of our co-hosts, John 5, who only collects up to 82, 83, doesn't collect anything afterwards. Doesn't mean he doesn't like the band after that. That's just, he's like, I got to put a stopping point. And then you get some collectors that collect the original makeup period and the original non-makeup period. And they don't do much beyond that, just because of the sheer volume of merchandise that has come out since 1996. And that's one of the reasons why I stopped buying everything, was volume. It's a lot. So
yeah, I was the same as George. You remember my original Kiss room? Yeah. It was just, I remember it took 3 or 4 years to finally get a house to put it together. When I put it in there, it was just like, it actually made me stop, was seeing it all out there. I was like, whoa, this is too much. I couldn't even fit it on shelves. It was right. It was like about 14 or 15 boxes of it. And I went, I've got to downsize this at that point. And I can see behind you, you're starting to...
I'm already there.
Ceiling room, but
I'm already there. I've been there for quite a while, and it's getting worse. But it's not going to stop me.
So
literally, I can't walk back there. They say that I can't walk back there.
Yeah. So, I can't walk in here, but it's for a totally different reason. Just shit everywhere. So
it's just mountains of merch.
So we'll get into all of that. Nicholas, do you have any photos of your old room with the newer merchandise in it?
I do. I'm going to make you do an edit here, because I've got a video of it, which we're going to put in.
I would love
the old days that we put in here.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
I hated it.
Especially that one part.
Yeah.
was a
And it should return, and it's back to just the 3 screens. It's like Joe didn't even say anything. Just turn the computer off.
The lighting was terrible. The editing was terrible. I hate all of it.
The guy talking was annoying.
The content was awful.
Oh dear.
All right. So before we get into all of those discussions, how about we do this?
I'm gonna open it.
Oh, what's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
There you go.
All right, Joe, you go first.
Hey Joe, just before you do that, if I'd have known our earlier joke about murder, I should have actually left a head in the box. Today, just that one version of this episode. It's Jason's head.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just have him looking out. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So Joe doesn't have anything he said earlier.
Well,
Nicholas?
Funnily enough, because this links into it, Joe actually does have what's in the box. But his what's in the box is sitting 16,000 kilometers away in Sydney, Australia. So I went shopping for Joe. And I could show you guys these. So I was in a local shop, and they always have heaps of Australian Kiss stuff in amazing condition. I picked some up for Dave Scott before, and these were really cool. So these are
Hang on a second. Why don't you ever offer to pick me up anything?
I will next time. There's so
I've
many.
known you longer than both of those guys.
No, sorry.
He likes you. He likes you less, though.
I think that's the truth. But that's okay.
I went
You're
in
like-
alphabetical order. We'll reverse it. Wait, reverse alphabetical order.
Yeah, right.
My first name and last name. Okay, anyway, I'll just show you. Sorry, Jason. Next time.
It's all
There's
right.
plenty of stuff there. Anyway, this is a really good one. This is pretty much a mint copy, amazing copy of Hotter Than Hell. And as you can see, the manufacturer, they just decided, where are we going to shove this? We'll just shove it across the tongue there.
I think you sent that picture to me when
Yeah,
we
I
were
did.
chatting
Yeah,
the
yeah.
other day. And,
Yeah, but
and
this is absolutely, look at this. I just don't want to do anything to it, but look at that. There's not a bend or a scratch or anything on there. It's like, I was just really surprised by the quality of this latest lot that they got into the shop. It is like, from that very corner down there, it's absolutely mint. Really good.
what's the label look like?
A label looks like that one.
Like
So I don't know. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yeah. What do you call that one? Camel? No,
It's
it's not Camel.
a FilmWorks label.
Still works. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's that, and then the next one that I got for him was unmasked again in
Show
amazing
me all
condition.
those.
This one.
So if I would have said, "Hey, Nicholas, buy those for me," you could have bought those for me, or
Yeah,
did you already have them sold to Joe?
Oh no, Joe just happened to be first in my phone. The last person I spoke to, so he was just. There's no rhyme or reason for it.
I see how
And
it is.
And this has got
Now he's insulted both of us, Jason.
Yes, exactly.
Joe just happened to be the last person I talked to. Otherwise, I wouldn't call him either.
Well, I would have actually, if it was my mum, I would have sold them to my mum.
Okay, fair enough.
This has got the original poster unfolded. So it's got the original poster folded up inside there. And I believe that the Australian one never had the merch sheet. It's not in there. So I don't think they would have had the merch sheet.
I don't think it did.
No. This is a great one. Again, super duper absolutely mint, which is best of the solo albums with,
Son of a
again,
bitch.
still with original stickers. And it's never been taken out. Like the album itself is incredibly mint. Like, look at that. Just like perfect. Like, it comes straight off the press. And I won't take the stickers out. Do you want to take the stickers out or not? I just wanted to.
No, it's all right.
Anyway, the stickers that come inside look like they were made yesterday. So yeah, these
That's
are coming.
because they were.
They were. Yes, exactly. Yeah. What is it? www. On the back. Oh, actually, it's not 100% mint. Look, there's a little fold across there.
Fake.
Okay. And then one for me that just came in, which just literally arrived before the show because I didn't actually have anything before, is this, which is a Japanese one. Look at
Who's that sexy woman on the front?
it is. It's sticky sweet. I don't know why you'd want to stay in a sticky suite. It's hotel rooms, but anyway. Let's see. So this is from Japanese magazine. I can't read in this light. This is from 1993. So what do we think this would be an ad for? Because obviously I collect ads. What is it?
Live 3.
Could be. It is actually for Izzy Stradlin, the Juju. No,
I knew
wrong
it.
one.
Yeah.
No, it is for, what is it?
Welcome to Kiss My Izzy.
Kiss My Izzy. It's like a little one for, this is a cool one. Just a half-page one for
Confidential.
Confidential, yeah. And below it is, you should be Danzig. Yeah. So, yeah, Danzig and Kiss on the one thing. There's heaps of really cool stuff in this. There's so many ads for bands around this time. It makes me, look at the Black Crowes, all those kind of cool albums that were around in this time. Yeah, so that's the ad I've got that one for. Vince.
Awesome. I always loved Burn magazine from Japan.
It's great, and it's so thick too. Like, there's so much in it. Like, you know. And the interviews go for, I can't read them because they're in Japanese, but they go for like about 10 pages. Like, they really have a lot of content in this thing, you know. Yeah, cool. Randy Rhoads custom guitar on the back, awesome. Anyway, that was my stuff.
That's great. I'll go next, but those are great vinyl pickups. So especially that Best of Solo albums, it's really cool.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you, Nicholas.
There was also which I told Joe about, but we didn't want it. There was the most mint copy I've ever seen of the Australian Dynasty. That was incredible, but missing the poster. So I didn't think that was worth picking up. And they always have about 10 copies of The Elder, all in good condition. And Dave has sent me on a mission to look for. There's some insert that comes within the Australia, like what is it? It's like, is it a fan club thing or is it? I don't know what it is, but he says keep opening it. I keep going back and checking them each time to see if it's in there. But there should be some Australian only flyer, or I don't know what it's meant to be is in there. Can't remember. He'll tell me, but
somewhere.
But I'm looking for some Aussie only insert.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Somewhere I have it, but I don't. Can't locate it at this second.
This is about the fourth or fifth Elder that's showing up, and obviously they're not selling. But yeah, like I think one day I'll probably end up finding that flyer copy because someone will have just sold the album as they kept it. So yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
But that one's promised to Dave because he, as we know from the show, he loves that album so much.
So do I. I probably love it. I love it more than Dave.
Yeah.
He talked to Dave more recently, though, Jason.
That's right, yeah.
So first it's promised to my mum. Then after my mum, it's Dave. Then it's Jason.
No. Then it's Dave. Then it's Joe. Then it's Dave. Then it's all of my mortal enemies, and then me. I got it. So.
Yeah.
All right. So I picked up an upgraded copy because I already have one, and I saw this and couldn't pass it up. But I picked up an upgraded copy of the U.S. originals on 8-track.
Oh, cool.
With the slipcase. And so this was what my original one looked like. So you can see definitely.
Oh, wow. Look how faded the other one was.
Yeah. So definitely upgraded. And it was interesting because my original copy, I had, the book. It's a smaller book. And it folds in half and goes in that box. And I also had, I had the cards, which also fold, but I had the cards. But I didn't have, and this is falling apart, but I didn't have the sticker, which is also folded and goes in the in the slipcase. So basically what I did, and here's the second book that came in the one. So basically what I did was I took all the parts and made a complete one. So, and here we'll show the back for those that may have never seen it. That's the back.
That's not called Frankensteining, is it? Frankensteining is when it's the wrong year, isn't it?
Yes.
This is called upgrading.
Yeah, this is not Frankensteining by any stretch of the imagination. It's cool looking at the order of the songs, because
what's the picture on the right? Have they not got Dressed to Kill on? Like, they've just got a black cover. Where's the picture?
It's there.
Oh, it's terrible printing.
Yeah. So
okay, they just look like a black. I thought it was at first. I thought it was.
Yeah, they're all like that.
That Destroyer, but yeah, wow.
They're all like that.
So.
Approved. That looks great.
That was a shot with the street light turned off.
That's right. So, and then here what the tapes look like in this. And there are another version of the tapes too, which I have over there, but this is one instead of the tapes. So
can I ask a question, Jason? Have
Yeah.
you noticed on most, if you get a double 8-track, are they usually different colored cartridges, or are they usually the same, or just mix and match?
It depends. Like, there are these versions of the originals that are different color, and they're always different color tapes when it's these versions. And then there's another version that are on white. They're white tapes, but the stickering, the labeling is completely different. So it's almost like they were printed in a different plant or something like that. So I know you can find Alive 2s that are different color tapes, but you can also find them where they're both white.
Oh,
So
cool. Okay.
I don't know what the rhyme. I'm assuming that would be just a different plant, but I don't know for sure. So if anybody needs a copy of the originals on 8-track with the slipcase and the book, because that's all I have, this is up for trade, and I would love to trade for a Creatures of the Night 8-track. Folks, I need a Creatures of the Night 8-track. Hook me
Is it a
up.
hard one to find?
Yes, it's very hard.
Yes, okay.
Very,
Sorry,
very
I asked a
hard.
lot of questions. I don't know anything about 8-tracks. So
Yeah, I mean,
it's information for the viewers at home. And stuff.
What's interesting is, it's always been said that Lick It Up is the hardest 8-track to find because it was only released on Columbia House. Creatures was the last tape that Casablanca put out, the record label proper. And so you would think that you would have a harder time finding a 1983 8-track or a 1984 8-track from Animalize, which were only released in record clubs. But it seems like the Animalize is up all the time. You see it all the time. Lick It Up, you almost never see. But somehow I ended up with 2 copies of it. And I traded one off to Tom Daniels for an Italian 8-track. But when I had my original collection, I had 3 or 4 copies of Creatures on 8-track, sold them off to Peter Arquette, and I haven't been able to run across one in forever. So,
are there certain countries which do 8-tracks? Like, are there, like, is it worldwide, like vinyl and cassettes, or is it just like America and a few countries?
It's U.S. and Canada, and there are like 2 or 3 tapes from the UK. There's, I think, 2 tapes from Italy. I think there's a tape, or maybe just one, Hotter Than Hell, I think, from Argentina, maybe. And there may be a couple of others. I think there's 1 or 2 Japanese 8-tracks.
I'll be back. My dog needs to wee again. I don't know what's going on. But keep talking. Sorry. Otherwise, otherwise I'll be cleaning up urine. So
that's fine. That's fine.
Sorry.
But 8-tracks are basically a U.S. and Canadian phenomenon. So.
Yeah, I mean, because 8-tracks were very short-lived, right? They weren't around for very long before we got into.
Was it
before we got into cassettes? Well, I mean, as far as like an extremely popular medium, right? It was an expensive thing. It was an expensive add-on, and I think pretty quickly we rolled into cassettes. Yeah.
Well, 8-tracks came out I believe in the 60s, and you had them all the way up until 1988.
Yeah, but they still weren't nearly as possible as popular as vinyl was back at that time.
Oh no, of course not.
That's what I mean. It was like a specialized sort of medium. It wasn't, it never was as prevalent as any of those other things, for sure.
Yeah.
So you wonder if that was part of like the worldwide adoption thing. Part of it, maybe it was too expensive. Like, who knows? For the mechanics of it, and it was in cars mostly, and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I can remember growing up, and all of my family members had 8-track players in their cars in the 70s and early 80s. And then cassettes just came along, and the fidelity of cassettes was just so much higher. They quickly overtook the 8-track as the medium as the portable medium of choice. So I would guess that the world just went from vinyl to cassette everywhere else, but here in the US and in Canada, we were really pushing it. So we'll do a Canadian. We'll do an episode on 8-tracks. Been talking to John 5 wants to do one, and probably bring a couple other guys on that are heavy 8-track collectors, and we'll we'll talk about it. I've got a full list of everything that has ever existed that is known that I'll be able to follow, and we'll be able to show most of it. So, and that's it. We'll see you on the next one. Yeah.
Awesome. Let your dog out more often.
It was fun.
All right, George. New stuff.
I don't think she's very well. She's eating grass. That's not a good sign, is it?
Means her stomach doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Okay. George, what do you got that's new?
Let's see here. This came out. Well, it was released a while ago for pre-order, and I guess it was stuck in shipping containers with all the pandemic for like a year.
Wow.
But cool pinball puzzle from Roll Cases. That's pretty cool.
Yep, that's the back glass of the Stern pinball machine.
Yeah, so it was a very, very cool thing to get. It took a while, but nice little different design than the usual covers, album covers.
We can see your ring light reflection in it.
Yeah. But,
Yeah,
that's a new one that came out. Puzzles really
cool. Yeah, that is cool because they do so many album cover ones that you'll just go, oh, another Destroyer, but it's nice to at least have something different.
There's so many variations of the puzzle, especially recently. It's all album covers: Dynasty, Destroyer.
Yeah, exactly.
The first couple of albums, and it's just in different formats, and it gets tired after a while. I have a couple of different ones, and they don't look nothing different from each other. The newest thing that I got in recently that sold out were these Danny Steinman's collectible pins.
I'm gonna move that away from the light. Just maybe put it to your left so that it's not picking up the shine.
There you go.
There we go.
That's much better.
That's cool. I like that actually.
Yeah, that's pretty cool looking.
Pins.
Yeah.
Joe's shaking his head. I can tell.
It's not true. I'm soaking it all in.
These came in and they're all numbered in the back.
Those are pretty cool.
Yeah, so these are 150.
What are they numbered to? Does it say?
This one is number 129 out of 150.
Oh, really?
This one
That's
here
why they
is
sold out so quickly.
61 out of 500. And this one is 252 out of 500. And there's like 6 or 7 other designs as well too. But right now, eBay and all these markets are like flooding them in ridiculous prices for the lower ones. There's some that are up to 50. And those are the ones that are a little higher prices, but they're pretty cool. They're enamel pins and very good quality.
Yeah. Do you think that that's what's happened, George, with the sellout? It's not so much all KISS collectors that it might be people like we've discussed with vinyl stuff, where they buy a whole bunch of them and then try and flood them back at higher prices on the market. So people are jumping into KISS collecting just to make profits now.
That's the huge problem right now, and it's messing it up for a lot of collectors like myself, where something comes out and they're not even buying it for the collector purpose. They're just trying to see what they can get out of it. And it's to the point where you have to get it for full price. When you see it, buy it right there and then, because if not, you literally have no chance of getting it.
It's age-old problem, though. You know, it's what we've been doing with ticket scalpers for years.
Right now, like with Facebook auctions and all that stuff, it's just getting ridiculous.
I agree.
And it's getting to a point where you're seeing one item jumping from group to group to group for the top dollar, and it bugs me because it's like, then this is not really collectibles. This is trying to just skip for money. It's not really the joy of like the item anymore.
That opens up an entirely different discussion that I don't know if we really want to get into, because I have very, very strong feelings about it. But these auction situations have really left a bad taste in my mouth of what's been going on with, driving autograph prices through the roof. It makes putting out a deluxe edition of a record and having the artist sign it now very difficult to do, because now they see what they can get in these auction groups, and you can't go to them with a reasonable offer, which was reasonable just 2 or 3 years ago, and now you can't. They want over $100, and you can't sell it. It just makes it very difficult.
These pins were $50 on their website, and they're going for like $300.
Yeah,
and for a collector who collects pins and wants to get these limited edition pins,
Yeah.
$200 a piece. It's gonna get to the point where you can't.
I don't know if I told you, George, about the Carnaby Street pop-up store for Queen, and they released a single member 7-inch vinyl every week. Now that went so crazy that I bought it and along with a lot of people, bought it at 15 seconds in. It went on sale, bought it at 15 seconds. I got the confirmation. Then I got another email saying, sorry, you weren't lucky this time. It completely sold out. And within an hour, these 7-inch singles, which were $30, were instantly $300. And the next lot, then the week after, went even double that, where they actually had to close the store down and evacuate people out the back because people just descended on the store in London to get this 7-inch. And you knew most of them, and a friend who was over there was saying these people weren't even Queen collectors. There wasn't a Queen shirt among them. They were people trying to buy a whole bunch to then go and, and then I told this to Dave, and just to get back to Kiss and that, but he was saying that when they produce these limited edition ones, the people who aren't seeing the money is the band, because so they sell them. Say they sell each one a run of 500 for $30, and then the people who are going to make the money are the people who are now selling them for $300. Like he was just saying, why don't they just make? The band would make more money if they made 3,000 of them and sold them all in terms of actual cash in hand for the band, because they don't make any of the eBay.
But the problem is when you do that, then everybody looks at it and go, "Oh, this is never going to sell out." And there's no, it's a common item, so there's no rush to purchase anything. So you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
You're right. Yeah, it doesn't create the demand, does it?
That's right. That's right. So
if you crank up the prices that these things are fetching on a secondary market at a retail price, at a retail, an original point, people are going to be like, "Oh, that's a cash grab."
Right.
Screw those guys. Yeah. So, but we're seeing it in a lot of, I even feel like some of the secondary market prices are sort of starting to filter in, especially like, you see Ticketmaster's gotten wise to it. A lot of different, I think a lot of people are getting wiser, and even, like Third Man Records, they put out a lot of collectible stuff. I know that it seems like anyway, that the prices have been raised by them at a retail, from a retail perspective, for things when you used to be able to go in and get a single for X amount of dollars. It's exponentially more expensive than that now, because I think they're not as expensive as the true secondary market, but they're starting to see that, well, why not charge $50?
Yeah, why don't we get a bigger piece of this pie?
Yeah, exactly. Instead. And so I don't,
What about sorry, you go, George.
No, like I said, what drives me mad is just the fact that I'm a collector and I collect as much as I can get, and seeing those, because I monitor some of them and see them and see what the prices go for, and some of them goes for like ridiculous amount of money, and I can just go on eBay and get it for like half the price. It's just the fact that they're just being so demanding and everyone's just gravitating to them.
Oh, that's like fear of missing out. It's FOMO in those auctions.
There's items that it took me probably 10 years to get, because I have patience for it and I'll get it in time for the right price.
I'm not anti-capitalist by any stretch of the imagination, because that's basically what this is capitalism. But it's just it makes it very, very difficult when you're just a regular collector, and
especially now, because so much new stuff is coming out, and anything new that has a Kiss logo on it, they're buying it in bulk. Look at those Funko Pops from Walmart that came out now already. You $50 or $60 it came out, and they're going for like $300.
Yeah, it's legalized scalping, is what it is.
Here's a weird one, because we've been talking about, and we will get to this, how some people view new merchandise and they go, I don't like it. But you notice when they suddenly, so stuff that's just made by Epic Rights or whatever it might be, like a Kiss keychain or a Kiss that or Kiss that. But then they bring out that rock and roll over buckle, which happened to be high demand. It's sold out. And all of a sudden, all these people who would normally say, I'm not getting a shitty buckle from Kiss Online, and now go, oh, I want that buckle. And again, it's a fear of missing out. That thing became limited and became, I love this buckle. And you saw these people talk about, no, it's really cool. I really like it. You're going, you wouldn't like it if it was just your normal. This could be produced for the Kiss cruise, and you wouldn't like it. But so all of a sudden, it became a rock and roll over limited edition. It's the exact same buckle that you would have even passed up at $7 on Kiss Online, but now I got to have that. That's so cool. Is it
point,
cool? Yeah. It's just cool because it's sold out,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, did you get that one, George?
Yes, I did get it. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So did I.
I was
So did
lucky. I was lucky because a lot of people got that email of death of they didn't get the buckle or they didn't get the older Japanese vinyl.
I got them both.
That. So I didn't get that email crazy. So yeah.
Have you gotten your buckle yet?
I got it took a while, but I got it.
I haven't gotten mine yet.
Really? Wow.
Nope.
Yeah, it took a while to get the buckle. Yeah.
I want to ask George to show us something that's really hard to get in the back there, and just see the whole lot come. No, just
yeah, it's like Jenga back there.
He's like,
no, not that one.
It's bad. It's bad.
All right, so let's just go ahead and get into to the collector spotlight with George, and let's just start with the common question of George. How did you get into this crazy band?
Well, when I was probably like 5, I had an uncle who listened to Kiss, was a Kiss fan, and had some Kiss records laying around. And I picked up, just screwing around with them, and picked up the Love Gun album. And just seeing that cover alone, just kind of blew me away. I still have that vinyl. This is the vinyl that I saw. And just seeing
cool.
this album, this album is with me since beginning. This is my first actually Kiss item that I ever had, collector-wise. And just seeing that album and seeing these guys in makeup and costume and not hearing the music, not hearing nothing, just attracted me to it to a point where I want to see more of this. But this is around the 80s, so there wasn't really much 70s Kiss floating around. So they had that one and the old one laying around. But then my dad saw that I was kind of getting interested in them, so he got the Veda Animalize concert, Veda, and played it on, and I just kept watching it. It kind of threw me off because I'm hearing one side of this album of Kiss songs and makeup, and hearing these guys without makeup, and who are these guys? So it took a little while to kind of process that these guys are actually don't wear makeup, and these are the same guys, and kind of stuck with me ever since, and I was kind of hooked. I did have a little down period when I got a little older, but it always stuck with me, that Animalize concert.
So was this like what, 84, 85?
85, 86 around there.
85, 86.
Yeah.
Very,
so
very cool.
That was when I first really into the music, and like I said, my first 2 albums were the Love Gun album and the Elder, and those 2 were my 2 first Kiss items that I had with me, and kind of stuck with me for years and years until I got a little bit older and kind of compromise and know with the band members, and I just knew it was by the cover. That's all I knew, and some of the songs.
So did you start trying to, once you were able to start purchasing merchandise, or ask your parents for merchandise, did you do that immediately, or was that later on, or what?
Later on in life, because I was in Chicago, so Chicago's a city town. There's different kinds of music and stuff. So not until like I got to like 11, 12, where I started to get into like rock music a little bit more heavier, and like I said, Kiss wasn't as big at that time like that. It was on the Revenge era when they started seeing them with magazine covers and stuff like that. You see them, and that's the time I wanted to listen to like Metallica and all these heavy bands. And you see Kiss, they look it with the leather and everything else. But I started to slowly pick up magazines, because that's what I could afford. I was like, I get the magazine with them on the cover or this poster and everything else. And that's what started from there, is from with little magazines here and there, because that's all I could afford at the time.
Were your friends into Kiss?
Not really. I lived in the school in the hood pretty much, and rap and gangs and all that stuff. So there was not many people I could relate to. I was pretty much by myself, a loner. So and that's usually how it was when I listened to Kiss, like with Kiss. And
seems to be a common tale.
Yeah, and especially in Chicago.
Nobody likes Kiss fans.
Yeah. Not until, like I said, it really hit hard until the MTV Unplugged. And when they did that, and then when I saw that, when the guys got back together, and it pretty much startled me to see that, to witness that, because I didn't think I'll ever see that again. Because by then I started to kind of accumulate the band members, the music, started getting CDs, which they were very expensive back then. That's why I didn't get that many. So I get as many as I can get and play it. But that time was, like I said, a very, very, so much going on at that time, because the band was kind of transferring into the reunion tour. So that's when they started sparking up over here in magazines and on TV. The kids conventions were on TV once in a while. And I know they came to Chicago. I wanted to go to it, but it was like $100 ticket, and my family wasn't going to do that, so I didn't get to go. But yeah, not until 95, the beginning of 96 is when I heard I saw the Grammys. I was actually watching it when it happened, and that just blew me away.
You ready to shock the people?
Yeah, that was yeah.
Let's shock the people.
Because I think everyone had that notion that, man, they did the Unplugged. This could actually happen. See these guys come back together or do something similar to it. Sure. And from maybe doing something without makeup or something like an album like that to actually went the full circle and actually put the makeup and costume on. That was just like, holy crap, I'm actually going to see this.
Right.
So it was pretty mind blowing for me.
So what then started you buying merchandise? Like we're starting to see behind you. Like what kicked it off? What was the first?
Well, first
kind of real stuff.
The first to me was, like I said, the magazines. When 96 came like that, you could go to any newsstand and Kiss was on the cover. Metal Edge, Chip Parader, Guitar. I mean, there were just on covers left and right for the promotion of the reunion tour. So seeing that was pretty easy grab for me to afford. $5 here, $6 there. So that's pretty much started, and the pinups. So my room was just getting loaded up. Instead of merch, was just all posters that I can grab. And that really started. And again, like I said, the CDs and stuff like that. And then later on that year, that's when the stores just went crazy.
Oh yeah, I remember very well.
And that was mesmerizing. That's where I remember, and that's why I still miss walking to Sam Goody or any music land or any store, and there was a Kiss section there, or Spencer's, and you see this loaded of, and you see this loaded of stuff, and I can't afford any of it, but it was just the fact that, wow, there's Kiss stuff. And you can't get it, but it stuck with me those times walking into stores and seeing all that Kiss merch, and I wish I could grab that at that time.
Yeah, I remember being overwhelmed walking into the stores, knowing all that stuff was coming out, and I was just wanting to buy everything, and there was so much of it, and there was no way that I could buy all of that stuff, and it's just insane. As my late 20s or early 20s, and I
was around 12, 13 that time, so I was pretty young, and what I missed about it was an adventure of what are they going to have, what is this store going to have, what kind of shirts is this store going to have, what kind of figures or what kind of variation items they're going to have, and it was just like a fun adventure to go into a music store and see something new, because like I said, there was no internet, there was no advertisement or whatever like that, so you just walk into a store and boom, there's Kiss merch everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I mean,
much harder to know what was coming out those days.
Oh, sure.
Sort of like you said, surprised by it, or
I missed that, and that was so much fun just to walk into a store and see all the stuff and I still get that joy now, but now it's just everything's online. But
now you just sit in your house and you push buy.
Buy it and have it in a couple of days. But I still miss those days of walking to the store or a bookstore and just seeing 8 covers of rock magazines and they're on the covers and stuff. And that's what started me, was just the covers like that. And when I started buying them, my folks started seeing it. I was like, okay, he has his poster wall full of Kiss stuff, and I think he has a good stack of CDs. Let's give him the McFarlanes to shut them up. So they gave me the McFarlanes like that. And then around that time is when, like I said, the Kiss store was getting on. And the first, those first few shows were sold out in minutes. And I was in Chicago, like I said, at the time, and they were playing Chicago July 14th. And I was like, oh my God, this is my chance to see the original members. I have to go to the show. Sold out in like 20 minutes. And then they had another show on the 16th, which was my birthday. That sold out in 20 minutes. So I had no chance of going into the show. So I was pretty bummed out that day, on the 14th, that they were going to go to the show, and they're going to go and stuck home. And for some reason, my mom was having a baby shower. And that day, they said, you go to the baby shower instead, and that's going to be your day. And I'm like, no, I want to go to the Kiss show. Well, that's sold out. You can't go. Took me to the baby shower. Long story short, they said, you're not going to the baby shower. Here's an envelope. Open it up, $150 in cash.
Aww.
2 tickets to the Kiss show in Chicago.
That's awesome.
Tears.
Oh, yeah, I bet. That's very
Tears.
cool. That's a good story.
Tears. And went to the show, and like I said, at the Rosemont Horizon, sat dead center in the back, so I saw the whole stage and everything else. And as soon as when the lights went down and they came out, just tears and so much enjoyment and like, wow, these are the 4 original members alive. And ever since that day, I was like, this is gonna be the band for me forever. Yeah. And I'm gonna go and devote myself to this band and do whatever I can to collect and music and everything. This is gonna be the band I'm gonna stick with, and from there on, it's been history.
Now, do you remember at those early shows? Because I remember when I went to, it would have been 97 by the time the reunion tour got to Australia, but there wasn't a lot of merchandise actually at the shows at that point.
I remember the tour book that I got, the first one. They didn't have any. They only had like a couple of live shots, a couple of shirts. The second time I went in October 21st, they had the tour edition action figures and some other stuff.
Yeah.
Later on, they kind of produced a little bit more. But yeah, the first one, it was just like 550.
A bit more simple, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was mostly shirts, hats, some keychains like that, a little small stuff in tour book, but not much. But that thing was selling like crazy.
Yeah.
At that time, everything was a hot product right there, especially in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a tour book that night. I got a couple of shirts, and it was a fun night. That was.
I can't even remember going to the merch booth. I went to the second show in Louisville. I don't even remember. I did go to the merch booth, but I can't even visualize it in my head anymore. It's crazy. You know?
I just remember how much of a hot ticket and a buzz that the band were at that time. You know, as you said, every magazine cover, they were everywhere. It's the biggest tour of the year. And I remember bringing a friend with me who was my best man, and he's not a Kiss fan at all, but he wanted to go see them because it was Kiss.
Right.
And then he was there and he bought a T-shirt. And like, I don't think he ever wore it, but he was just caught up in it was just this amazing magic around it. He went and bought a T-shirt. I'm thinking, why would he buy a T-shirt? But he was caught up in the whole magic of it. And that magic kind of disappeared a bit after that.
It did.
But there was something about that reunion era that caught up not just Kiss fans, just people who like music, and then people who just want to see a show that that no one else is doing. Like, it was, I'd seen Kiss on the 95 tour where they brought Leon out for that kind of weird revenge kind of mixture. But but it was, there was just something about that. And I'll let her out in a second. And I just remember it just going absolutely crazy. And I had a bit of a moment too when those, I don't know if it happened for your concert, the amps were back and they slowly, you remember that? They moved up, and I was just going, forgetting about the fireworks. I was just going, I think they opened with King of the Nighttime World. And it just, those things were coming up, and both myself and Greg, who's not even a Kiss fan, was just going, whoa, it's like the whole amp rig's coming up. That was such a simple thing, but it was incredible at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I just love that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was at the Tiger Stadium show when they, the first proper show, and I had never seen them in makeup either. You know, when the lights cut out, they had helicopters circling the stadium with the spotlights and all the stuff, and it was, on second base at Tiger Stadium down on the field, which for me as a lifelong Tigers fan was pretty awesome on top of it. And then it was, you sort of knew it was coming, but when they actually hit the stage and the whole thing started off, it was magical. It felt what I imagine it felt like in the old days for people who had seen them, back in the original makeup days. So it was a pretty special time. That first run of reunion shows was pretty amazing.
It was crazy
as far as the magic goes. It
was crazy with the magic, like you said, with the magic, and it was crazy like how 2 years of that when it passed by, when we did the Psycho Circus tour, how everything kind of died down.
Yeah,
I didn't know about the stuff when they were playing Chicago at the time until I opened the newspaper, and there it was. There was no radio ad. There was no nothing. It was just they were coming in Christmas time.
Yeah,
there was no promotion for it. There was no hype. There was no surprise. It was just
I was in London and didn't even go to that concert. I don't know why. I just didn't. It didn't have the same.
Things started to really settle down.
Yeah,
it wasn't as popular as it was. The merch was crazy still, but I remember the show where the advertisement was basically nothing. It was crazy.
So do we want to talk about some stuff, George? You want to show some of your favorite items, show off some of the things that you love, kind of talk about a couple of things. I think you pulled some things aside and show.
The cool thing that I got was my first 70s actually Kiss item that I actually purchased was at a card show in Chicago. Me and my dad were collecting hockey cards and baseball cards and stuff like that. And we went to a convention and a card show. And of course, we're looking at different cards. And this one guy had like this random stuff. And boom, he had the original 78 Don Ross collector cards, mint in the box.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, whoa, that's neat. I've never seen that before. And of course, the Kiss fan in me was like, forget about baseball hockey cards. I want that set of cards. So I kind of convinced my dad and did what I do, and actually got a set of the cards and
full box,
sealed and everything else.
Can I ask what you paid for it back then?
It was actually $150.
Yeah, it's a $900 to $1,200 item now. Blows my mind.
Yeah, it was $150 at the time, so it was really high because, like I said, the box of cards was like $45, $50 at the time, and
sure,
I paid $150 for some Kiss cards, and the gums probably be bad and all that stuff. And but it's the Kiss, it's the original ones, and there's nothing else, and I got it. So yeah, this one means a lot to me because this is like I said, something my first actual '70s album that I actually have because I really don't have really much anything '70s. So just to have this, it's pretty cool. So it means a lot.
I'll give you $300 for it.
No deal.
I actually don't have a full, so I've all kinds of '70s merch, and I don't have a full box. I only have an empty box and multiple sets of the cards, but I don't have a full box. And I should have bought one 5 years ago when they were $300. Now they're $1,000. What, Nicholas?
I was saying I used to fake my full boxes for display. Because I just put a little cardboard tray in it and put the four cards that I had in the wrappers on there, and they look like a full box. So it always looked good, but I couldn't afford. Well, I could afford it, but I chose to buy other stuff. And
right.
Yeah.
So. I've got a full box of wrappers out there, but I don't. I guess I could meticulously put the cards back in them and glue them back together. And so,
another
what
cool.
else?
I guess Kiss guitars. I got some Kiss guitars.
Yeah, show us some guitars.
Let's see. I got here the Paul Stanley one.
So which is this a PS10 or is it a PS120? What is it?
It's the 121, the one that came out recently.
Yep.
Okay. So I got one of those. Nice. It's very nice. I had to get a Paul Stanley one.
I bought a 120 as well.
I like the classic design of it. I'm not a big fan of the purpley colored one and some of those other variations. That's a beautiful one, just the black and the white.
I just got it's really, really
You like
nice.
the purple one?
I love the purple one.
You and Dave's got both. You are such a shill.
Oh my
unbelievable.
God.
That thing is so ugly. It's unbelievable.
How is that ugly? It's a fucking PS10 with purple.
It's so awful. He should be playing the PS10 and that's it.
You're crazy.
You had a Kiss guitar, didn't you, Joe, for a while? Or have you still got it? Yeah, you had one.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I've got the Ace, I've got the Paul, and then I've got when around 2004 was Paul doing the Silvertone. Then I have one of the Silvertones that is signed by the band. That's what was available to buy at the time, and I wanted to get the band to sign it. So I have that. Unfortunately, that's the one that I have signed because I really wished it were like the Axe or the PS, one of the PS models or something like that. So
it's not a good looking guitar, the Silvertone. It's pretty one of the
Black Sovereign. I have one of those too.
It's ugly design, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like that weird mushy kind of round shape, like almost like the bass that Gene used. Kind of has that same kind of like devil horny kind of shape thing happening to it. Not good. No, very knockoff looking.
Yeah.
What other guitars do you have?
The recent one I got recently was the Tommy Thayer.
Oh, the Tommy Thayer. Boy, that sparkle
this
is
one
beautiful.
When I saw it live, when the spotlight hits it, it's just amazing from like way in the back.
It's an Epiphone, right?
Yeah, it's an Epiphone. Yeah.
That's his newest, right? Didn't he have the white lightning or something before that?
I like the white one.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, I have the white lightning Explorer. I have the Explorer one and his first silver one that he came out with. The white lightning one I didn't get to grab, but this one
that does look good in the light.
It's a gorgeous guitar.
It's in person.
It just looks like blue, but yes, that's lovely.
And it's reasonably priced too, wasn't it? About $750 or something like that.
It's like $100 like that, and for the price what it is, and it doesn't do justice until you see it in person. Videos and pictures doesn't do justice.
It looks pretty good on video. Yeah.
Of course, they stole that sparkle effect from the limited edition Kiss My Wax version of Space Invader.
Of course.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
And the last is the Ace Budokan.
You have a Budokan. Very nice.
That's nice. So when did that one come out?
This one came out in 2000. Yeah, when the year came out. But I know there was only 1,000.
Is it like 14 or 15, something like that, or a little bit? Yeah, somewhere around in that area.
There was only 1,000 of these. And
what makes a Budokan? Because he played that one at the Budokan?
Well,
like that style? Or what?
I guess because around 76 is when this guitar, we started using it. Okay. So I think around the time we started using it, I guess they named a name for it. But the reason why I like this guitar because it says the block inlays and, like I said, the diamond. And it's just the original one from the 70s. I used to use pictures. And those old videos of him playing, and that card. I got the other phone also too with the lightning bolts. I have that one too, but this one is the one that gravitated to me want to play guitar.
They also made an aged Budokan, didn't they?
They did.
That's like big money, right?
Yeah, I want to say those are like 10 grand, something like that. At least I haven't looked at them in a long time.
Last I've seen one, they go for like 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Especially
surprised no one's done a light guitar. If he's like, no one's done the light guitar and sold it.
Well, I think the guy who invented it. I think the guy who invented the guitar owns the rights to it.
Because you would have thought he would have. Yeah, you would have thought he would manufacture it if he could.
Sure, I see a lot of like tribute bands. They make their own versions of it, so it's not too hard to make. Apparently,
I doubt though that it's practical.
Yeah,
it's probably very expensive to replicate, and by the time they get to charging it, it's probably going to be a $15,000 or $20,000 guitar. You're only going to sell a couple of them. So, Joe, what Ace do you have? Did you have?
I had the Budokan too. That's what I was going to say. That when we were getting one of the records signed by Ace, that was the one that I went and bought it just for that, to get him to sign it while we were at that convention. So that's and I had looked at the aged one. I just love it because they actually went through and they were trying to exactly replicate all of the aging from whatever the guitar strap buckles on the costume, all the stuff, and I think he had a sticker on the back that he had put on it, and they replicated the sticker and aged that. It was a really cool, and I know they've started doing that with a lot of stuff. I know Eddie Van Halen's guitar, they've done one where they're trying to age it right down to the exact minutia and detail, which is it's really cool for fans to to be able to own a piece of history and something that looks aged just like it was from the photos.
I always wanted to collect PS10s, and my buddy Danny Dabbs at one point in time had like, I don't know, probably 12 of them or something. He had a 78, a 79, or maybe he had a 78. He had a 78 and an 80, and then he had like, the classic and the limited and all the ones that came out in the mid 90s, a PS10 2, all of that stuff. And they were just beautiful. I have pictures of them, where they're just hanging on his wall, just beautiful PS10s. He didn't have he didn't buy any of the new colored ones or anything like that, but just the 90s back he bought. Those are
Has he got them still?
He sold them all. I think he might have one left, but he ended up selling them. But
I mean, I remember seeing that thing in the back of the Dynasty tour book, because that was one of the first things that I had ever gotten merchandise wise. And I was just like, who could have possibly, I'm a little kid at the time, who could afford it? Like, it wasn't even really even a thought of, that would be cool to have it. It was just like, that's what grown people buy, I guess, or guitar players or whatever,
So, I mean, it's just expensive to buy them. So I've just gone the cheaper route. And like George, I got a PS120, and which looks like a PS2.
So I got the Epiphones, the same
That's
thing.
right. That's right.
Looks like it.
Court Gene bass that costs $300 or something like that. And, so I've got a Sovereign Silvertone. I had a couple of his Washburns that I actually sold. But none of those guitars are expensive. The PS120 was the most expensive, So, but nothing.
And that's the one that Paul. That's the one that you get when you do the meet and greet, right? Is that the same?
That's
I think
correct.
that's the same model. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
It's
ones
like
you did
it's like the
ones, too.
it's like the mid line because there's a what is it called? A PS50 Black, I think it's called. A PS or I can't remember what it is, but there's one that's like $300.
Yeah.
And
Like
then there's the PS 120 that George and I have that's probably around $800 or so, or it was when it came out.
Yeah.
And it's it's pretty much it's very nice
for what it is.
$300. There's a $300 one, is there? That's very cheap.
Yeah, there's a cheap.
There is a really cheap
called
one.
the POS. It's like
the POS, yeah. And then of
the
course
POS Unlimited.
And then there's the PS10s that are the actual, PS10, replica models that are, thousands and thousands of dollars. Yeah. So,
wow.
And then like the cracked mirror, I think is $10,000 or something like that. $8,000 or something. I don't know. So,
and if you want to play it, it's like in the 20s.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, the cracked mirror thing, that looks amazing. That would be such an amazing piece to have,
If I got one, I'd get a cracked mirror one. That'd be the one.
I'm pretty sure the cracked mirror, manufactured cracked mirror version, I'm pretty sure that's acrylic. But Paul's original one was mirror.
Yeah.
And I remember Danny took a PS10 too, which was like the cheaper PS10 in the mid 90s. He sent it off to Cam Guitars, and that guy does custom mirroring for Paul Stanley guitars, and he takes a real mirror and he cuts it into the same shapes that the original 78 PS10 or 79 cracked mirror PS10 is, and he glues them all in. So it's pretty fucking cool. It's a way different look than the acrylic that they sell now for $10,000, and it's acrylic. I don't even understand that. So
yeah.
But anyway, so guitars. What else you got that's prized possessions?
I just got these recently from a collection that is obtained.
Hello,
really
Ace.
Cool.
Oh yes, they're super rare.
Yeah, I didn't think I'll get these, but these were in the box when I opened them up. I'm like, what are these? And sure enough, these were in there.
Oh, so you bought a collection and those were in there?
Yeah, tell them about the collection that you bought. Actually, this is pretty amazing.
Well, actually, I had a friend who had a big, nice collection. Sorry, and I guess he just wanted to give it to someone who could appreciate it a little more. And like I said, with me, anything that stays in my room stays here. It doesn't go anywhere else. So he wanted to give it a new home. So he decided to give me his collection. So he just
gave it to you?
Gave it to me.
Holy shit!
Yeah. So he gave me a lot of stuff. So I got these masks. I got these all these new a lot of Spencer related stuff like the bathrobes.
Sure.
Tons of shirts. A couple of Paul Stanley guitars. The shorter jean boots. I got some in there too. So it was a lot of. I'm still going through them.
How many boxes was it? Was it a few?
It was about 15 boxes.
Yeah.
Big boxes. Yeah, a lot of stuff I already had. But a lot of stuff was, like I said, a lot of rare stuff. The beer steins from the '98. Got those recently too. They were in their collection too.
So Nicholas, what are those masks going for now?
I don't know. I don't know what they're going for, but they came out around the same time as those '97 full face masks with hair. But I've only seen those, and in a few collections like that Carol Rockhead guy from Holland. But yeah, I haven't seen many of them. They're so rare, unbelievably rare. I don't know if they're valuable, but they're unbelievable. You just never ever see them on eBay ever.
I don't see them anywhere like that.
Yeah.
So are they sort of cut out? Can you hold them back up again, George?
Yeah.
I've never seen them before.
Yeah. So it's like I said, I got them in a head thing, but you see it's little.
Yeah. And show them that label.
So it's almost made to look like riveted metal. I see.
Yeah, and it's the same label as the other masks.
At Illusion Concepts.
Yeah, Illusion Concepts.
Yeah, I had the other masks.
Yeah, it says 1999. So it must have came after the other masks. So this must have been after the other ones came out. Because the other ones, I think, were 98.
I think they were, yeah.
98, 97. So these came after. These were like probably the last ones they made. And
but I wonder if maybe they didn't like them, or that maybe there was some reason, but you just never see them, which means they can't have been manufactured.
The guy that I got it from, he says his mom knew a manager who worked at Spencer's, So a lot of stuff that he got was expensive. So that's where he got it from. So obviously they were selling them. So but like I said, I only seen them on Nicholas's website.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing them. I went to tons of Spencer's back in the day looking for that stuff, and I don't ever remember seeing them in the shop unless they were folded in a way that I just didn't recognize or something. But I never saw those things.
I'd say in 10 years or so, I've maybe seen them once on eBay.
Wow.
Yeah.
If that, it may have been about 15 years ago now, but they never come up. So that's an amazing find.
Do you have all 4 of them?
Yeah, about 4 of them.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
that is super cool.
Yeah, nothing up on eBay at the moment for those.
Yeah, I've not seen them in a long. I think I seen it one time, like 5 years ago. It was just one mask, and I didn't have the tag or nothing. It was just loose by itself. But
wow.
Yeah, I think the whole thing, that was one of the big ones. That was that really popped out at me. And I guess the other one was I gotta find the cable cord. It's still in there somewhere. Nicholas, you probably know the lighting, that defective lighting one came out in 2004 or 5.
Sorry, explain
this.
The
light that came.
The lumen glass,
yeah,
the lumen glass one, which is which they one of the guys who used to work there said even though they told everyone it was because the sticker was peeling off it, and that's the reason it was recalled. But he said he had an internal memo because he was like a manager at Spencer's, and he said that it was actually because they were having electrical troubles with them, and they could actually start a fire. So yes, don't turn it on, George.
But that was in the box too. I was like, that was and I see those going on eBay for a few $100.
Yeah.
It sadly didn't come with the box, but it was loose. But still, I have it.
Sure.
It's really cool. And
sure.
Like I said, there's still stuff I'm going through it. I've still got to figure out what's in them. But sorry. There's just a lot of different stuff. A lot of stuff I already have that it's in there. That's why I open. I actually can enjoy it and look at them because I never open any of my stuff. Nicholas always picks on me all the time because I never open anything. But yeah.
Nicholas used to open all of his shit and throw the boxes away.
I can't.
No one's surprised about that. The guy who trimmed his posters, the guy.
Yeah, I don't. The thing with me and my collecting, they know me. I don't open anything. Everything stays in the box, man, and it gets put away. But,
well, I started to run out of room, so I thought I'll take my original Pop Funko things and just display them just have everything all out. I thought everyone else has them in the boxes. I'm going to display everything all out of the boxes.
Right.
But as someone said, but why did you throw them away? Why don't you just keep them and then put them back when you went to sell them?
Yes.
I just put them straight in the recycle bin.
Unbelievable.
And because then those original ones are worth a lot of money.
And that's not even a KISS thing. That's just collecting in general. That's like, well, you did this too. That's like buying a record and taking the record out and throwing the jacket away.
Yeah.
Which I think you've done before, or you threw the records away. Basically, you threw those under your bed and put your jackets up on the wall.
No, because as you probably would have seen in the video we just shared from my original room, I had the whole wall of all the album covers up. Mounted, yes, but I didn't really care about the actual vinyl, so they were just like stacked up. And I remember showing Joe, it got to the worst bit when I was renovating my house, and I'd like drilled all the ceiling and everything was just, and all the stack of the KISS vinyls were covered in it looked like baking powder. It was just from the seat. I didn't even cover them; they just sitting on the floor. But yeah, I've since become a lot more caring about my vinyl. So
yeah, it's interesting because when you first started the show with us, it's probably been 4 years now or something like that.
Yeah,
you were like, because I always asked you that question: why would you collect merchandise and not collect vinyl? I understand the people that collect vinyl and don't collect merchandise, like Joe. Well, he has some stuff, but generally speaking. But I don't really understand the people that only collect merchandise and don't collect vinyl, because vinyl was really the first bit of merchandise that existed for the band. And you're always like, I can listen to it on my Spotify. I don't, who needs all of that? It's too much trouble, this and that. And now you're a damn aficionado back there, especially with Queen.
Yeah. Well, I think that I can only speak for myself why I did that, but I think one of the reasons was I never really bought albums back in the days. They didn't mean much to me. When I started buying cassettes of everything because I always wanted to have them on the go. Sure. And I just remember my parents had a really bad record player, and my experience from record players were just skipping. I'm getting frustrated all the time as I skip skip, and you walk across the room, skip, and like I'm going, I hate this. This is the worst format you can ever have. Of course, now that Joe pointed me in the direction of a good play, I don't think it's skipped once. Like it never skips at all because it's a good player, and I clean my records and stuff like that. But yes, my experience so I just had and I thought, and then I migrated straight from cassettes to CDs, which they were perfect sounding. They didn't have that sound at the start, and I didn't have to flip them over. It was all seemed like a bit of a hassle. But I think now I've sort of more appreciated the format. I mean, although still a lot of the reason I sometimes wonder, do I collect vinyl or am I just collecting pretty squares, because obviously you don't listen to every version that you collect,
Some people
I know
do.
I don't. Some people do, but I don't.
Yeah.
I probably, like with Queen, I would play the latest half speed masters. I leave them open to play. But I wouldn't play a 1977 Hungarian pressing. Like, why would I? It's going to be lesser quality or something.
I have that conversation with my friend Pat Lucero all the time because Pat has a tremendous amount of records, not just Kiss, just a tremendous amount of records, like Joe does. And he listens to every single record. He deep cleans every record and listens to every single record that comes into his house at least once.
Yeah.
Just to say, I've listened to it. I know what it sounds like. That I don't understand that.
I don't listen to a lot of stuff like when I get a new copy of Love Gun In or something like that, especially because a lot of the stuff we're getting is rarer and it can be in terrible condition and it's still exceedingly rare. And so I don't even want to, I'd rather listen to a nice clean 2014 copy or something that I know is going to be good and enjoy rather than fighting through a Brazilian copy of something that's just looked like it's been beat to hell,
Yeah.
So, I don't do that either.
Yeah, it's interesting, to the difference in those types of collectors, which brings me to what I wanted to talk to George about was why you collect mainly new. I know you have some vintage stuff, but you are mainly a modern, 96 forward kind of merchandise collector.
Because it can't be money because you've got money to spend on the guitars. So it can't be purely a financial thing. No,
it's financial. Like I said, I'm a guitar player. I play music too, so I play guitar. So having a Kiss guitar is something you want to play on a Kiss guitar. So I do play them once in a blue moon. So I do collect them, but I play them once in a blue moon. But the reason why I just collect new stuff, it's because quality is better, obviously. Like I said, there's just so much new stuff. For me being a collector, like I said, you have to collect. To me, collector is collecting everything, old and new. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what country it comes from. Doesn't matter what the department it's in. It's just collecting what the band puts out. So that's what I do. So the reason why I collect a lot of new stuff because for me it's easier to obtain. And like I said, when I was a kid, when I was 12 or 13, I couldn't afford half the stuff that Spencer's or those other stores have. I do have a picture memory of those items being there, but I never could afford them. Now that I've got a little older and money's been a little bit better because financially it's been a little better. So now I take the time and I'm always hunting in eBay and always scrounging for different stuff and just trying to recoup everything that I can grab that I remember from back then. And there's always new stuff coming out and you got to grab the new stuff. So it's kind of tug and pull.
That's part of that intrinsic nostalgia that we're always talking about that's baked into almost anything that people do. We've had people on the show before who were big time reunion on collectors and had a real love for that period because that's when they were kids. That's when they felt the magic.
That's my 77.
Exactly. And a lot of us, my 77 was 77, so I have the nostalgia for that stuff. So it's funny how it plays in for different people, and I guess as being a little bit of an older Kiss collector, it wouldn't dawn on me that a kid would walk into Spencer's and feel that same wonder that I did walking into Kittyland or Toys R Us or wherever it was and seeing all that Kiss stuff from back in the day,
And that's the struggles I deal with when I talk to other collectors. When they say, "Oh, you spend $100 on this, you could have bought the Kiss radio or Kiss this or the lunchbox." Like,
I've seen people comment on your stuff. Yeah.
Oh, it gets pretty bad, and they get on me. But I tell them, listen, I've been wanting to get this item since I was 18, And now I can get it.
Sure.
I'm going to get that first because it's something I saw when it first came out, and I want to get it.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm going to get that first before I get a 1978 item that I've never seen before, never had in my hands, or never seen it when it came out. So my priorities is different when it comes to collectors that are a little older than me, when it comes to what they buy. And I always come across collectors that just collect the coin stuff, and some people just collect certain this like belt buckles only or pins only. So
Sure.
you see a lot of people that collect different stuff. But with me, I collect everything, so it's harder for me to really engage on everything that Kiss puts out, especially from the 70s, especially now. And then the money. That's the big thing, the money.
Do you find they're trying to put how they feel onto you? So they think I've got no interest in the 1997 Destroyer jigsaw puzzle or the 2014 one. So therefore, you should be spending your money on the 1977 one. But really, they're both jigsaw puzzles with the Destroyer album cover. One is not better than the other. They're equally the same. They're equal, and they go, "Oh, but this new stuff's mass-produced." Well, I got news for you: the stuff in the 70s was also.
Of course, it was.
Yeah.
So that's not even an argument. It just means more to those people because that's what their era was.
Sure.
I don't like it, and I've seen on George's thing a lot that they really go hard on him for just sharing his stuff. And I know sometimes you go, "Oh, I don't always like sharing," because you're going to get people just telling you that you're wasting your money and all this kind of stuff. You go, but we're all wasting our money, really, in the grand scheme of things. Whatever we pay, we're wasting our money, Yeah.
Well,
and we love it,
And it goes back to that thing of, oh, are you a real fan? And the whole weirdness of this whole collectors sort of community of people judging each other for what you collect or what you like. Or,
Right.
I mean, nobody's here to judge anybody on what they like. Now, I have certain things that I collect that George might not care anything about, and same with Nicholas, and it's for everybody. So, and that's what's cool about collecting and the way that people approach it. And George just happened to be born on a slightly later timeline, and that stuff, and you're seeing it a lot with it happens to every generation. When you get the disposable income, you're like, oh, I had a guy walk into the store and there was an expensive Beck record there, and he said, oh, I was in dental school and I listened to this record midnights, cramming for tests and all that stuff. And so he bought the record. Even though it was expensive, that meant something to him, where somebody else might not care about that record. Another record collector might want it because it's a rare record. But I think nostalgia and time has a lot to do with, and I couldn't afford it back then, and now I can.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to do it now because I couldn't do it then. And it's almost like you're proving something to yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any wrong way to collect anything.
No, I agree with you totally. And it's just like you were talking about, you said you get older and hopefully you're lucky enough to have disposable income, and you're trying to recapture something that meant something to you. And it's the same reason I just spent the last 3 months buying 60 brand new He-Man figures, because that was the cartoon when I was a kid. Voltron. That's why I have one sitting over here. And then Kiss. It's I want hardly any of that stuff back then, but I can now, and I do.
Yeah, it's a struggle because, like I said, me, I want to have everything. I want to have a nice collection of variety of different stuff, and I got to get a lot of stuff. There's still a lot of stuff that I don't have from the Spencer era, and there's still stuff from the early 2000s that I don't have, and there's new stuff coming in now. So it's a really hunt for what you can do. Like with me, like I'm always trying to grab I love oddball Kiss items, and that's what drives a lot of collectors nuts. When I get like an oddball stuff that it doesn't seem like, oh, that's just a generic Kiss item. Oh, you spend money on stuff. Well, it's a generic Kiss item, but right now, in the future, it's going to be worth something. But I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it because I want it in my collection.
Sure.
So look at those Kiss pins, these stupid pins like that. Yeah, they're regular pins and it doesn't mean much to anyone else, but they are numbered, and I'm pretty sure in 10 years, probably $1,000 pin. Who knows?
Could be. Yeah,
it could be.
I was actually thinking of another thing too recently, was because of the like we come up with these rules. So people go, vintage collecting ends at 83. But if you think if Kiss didn't have makeup, if Kiss weren't a makeup band, but they were somehow merchandise, I reckon it'd be different. I reckon it would go originals only. You would get originals only being up to when Peter left, why would I collect when it was Eric or Vinny? Like, you know, that would be lumped in with the end of the classic era. Peter leaves, and then from then on, it'd just become like the 80s. Eric Carr would be nothing different to Mark St. John or Bruce Kulick.
Right.
But it's funny we accepted vintage is so because some guy once thought, well, I collect up to the end of when the makeup came off. But that's how you just made up. If the majority of Kiss fans decided I only collect to when Peter left, the Eric Carr stuff would be worthless. The Australian stuff would be worthless. It's only just because that's what people do, and everyone falls in line with that. I collect vintage, or I collect all eras. What if you only collected the original membership? What if you collected only things with Ace, Peter, Gene, and Paul? So you did the 70s till 79, and then you collected 96 to 2000.
I bet there's people like that.
It probably is, but I don't see them that often. People fall into line of either everything or vintage or coin.
I tell people I don't like to see a wall or where a wall ends, because if you only get so much of the 70s stuff, and then there's going to be a stopping point, actually.
You think? Have you seen John 5?
I know, but yeah, he's going way into deep, like backstage stuff, and
you can't even have it all.
You can't have it all, but the merch-wise,
but generally speaking,
you're going to hit a wall eventually with everything that came out in the 70s. And with the new stuff, there's never-ending stuff, and there's always new stuff coming out. So it's to me, that's like I love seeing new stuff come out because it just takes me back when I was a kid, but now I can afford it and buy it.
You're trying hard to find that wall.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. Eventually, I know I'm never going to see the wall, but it's just the fact that I could try and get one item at a time, and try to get that Gene Simmons office kind of.
So let me ask you this: what, as far as modern merchandise 96 forward, are there any like grails out there that you haven't been able to find that you're particularly looking for?
It's like I said, with this purchase I got right now, it filled up a lot of gaps with lunch boxes and little stuff like that. So I still got to go through it and kind of do an inventory of what I have and see what fills the gaps. So like I said, and I've been fortunate and like I said, lucky to get the stuff that I've been finding lately. And like I said, if you see my pages, I've been getting a lot of cool stuff lately. And and like I said, I'm always looking. I'm never looking for a particular item. I'm always looking for what's going to be the next item I can grab for a decent price, and I don't have it, so I can move on to the next one.
Yeah, and so like you said before, you'd wait. If something's too expensive, you go, well, I'll just go on to something else, and I'll come back to that when I find
I'll come back with it, and I have a memory of my old decks of stuff that I'll wait to take a couple of years, and hopefully down the road I'll see it for a decent price. I'm always looking for that collector who just wants to get rid of it, and that's when you get the good deal. But
so put the new collection aside and price aside. Are there like two items, or is there an item and you're just like, man, if I could snap my fingers right now and have it in my collection, that's what I would want?
I'd like to get a pinball machine.
That's
all I'd love to get, the original pinball machine. Because that's the
original pinball machine. That's interesting.
That to me, because that's something that you see it and it's like, wow, you have that. That's standing out.
Well, I it took me my whole life, George, to get one. I don't,
exactly.
My whole life, and I have been a big collector my entire life, and I didn't get one until last year. And
but it's an accomplishment. I'm pretty sure it's an accomplishment to get one.
So
I think that's something that, like I said, if I have that, I feel like okay, I move forward on getting something really, really cool.
Well, that's interesting. Because you said before that you prefer to get, say, the modern thing because it was better made. Would you then not want to get the Stern pinball machine?
No, I'll get that. Oh, of course, that's a no-brainer. I'm going to get that regardless. Anything new, I'm going to get regardless. So
I want a Stern one as well.
Because that's something that
I want a fun one.
Yeah, the new stuff I'm going to grab no matter what it is, what it comes out. That's in my list and bucket list. But the old stuff is where you have to pick and choose what you can grab. Because to me, that's a luxury item. Yeah. Because
so pinball machine. What else? Is there anything else?
Let's see.
Price isn't a thing.
Oh my God.
You could snap your fingers right now. Like, give us a modern thing, because that seems to be like are there any modern grails that we're not aware of?
I almost
just be like, man, I've never seen it, and there it is.
Yeah, well, he has all of it. He hit the wall.
I've seen pretty much everything that came out right now, but I think the only one that I could have grabbed that I should have grabbed it when I had a chance was the Kiss casket.
Oh, see, that's
The original
that's a
one.
big
The original
big
one.
item. Like that's like a pinball machine esque
Yeah.
kind of
It's a
modern item.
because it's something you're not going to see in every collection.
No,
I
for
like
sure.
that's something that it's going to be like, why the hell do you have that?
Now, are you talking about the original one, or
I could have got the
'cause
original one.
They did.
I could
a
have
couple
got
more
both. I could have got both.
later.
I had an opportunity to get both, but the price was just out of my range. And
Yeah.
how the hell am I going to get that to here from one place to one?
And where the hell are you going to put it?
And where am I
A hearse. A hearse.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hearse.
So I could have got that, and then I like I said, there's been so many offers that have been up to me like that, but I just kind of look at them and kind of shrug them away because I just know I never get my chance to get it.
Yeah.
So I've had people offer me like some of the Ace guitars, played guitars. I had someone offer me the Kiss from the Butterfield auction, some of the items from that thing. So a lot of people offer me that, but the prices were just
it's priced. Yeah, that's me too, man. Is there is so much stuff that I've been offered over the years that I just can't afford. I just don't have it. Stuff comes up and I just get sick at my stomach because I don't have, $5,000 or like Joe does. And like I
was saying earlier about the Kiss Cruise. Like I said,
I've never been on one. Price is the reason.
And the price is too much. And if I spend that much, that's going to hurt my budget on other items that I have pre-ordered or stuff I want to get that comes out. And I look at the merchandise first before I look at the show and stuff like that. So
got it.
That's my priorities. So it's a struggle. A lot of people don't like that, but like I said, that's their problem, not mine.
Yeah.
So
are you going to keep the multiple copies that you got, or are you going to sell those for new stuff?
Like I said, I already have multiple copies of like different stuff. Like I think you see I got like 3 pinball machines, little toy ones up there. I have a couple of repeat items like that. It's just hard for me to get rid of it when I have it. Because like I said,
That's one of the best. That's one of the best clips of all time.
I know there's a good buddy in Kollectibles, in the Kollectibles group. His name's Quentin, and he has multiple copies of all vintage stuff.
Yeah.
Like he'll post and he'll have 10 color forms and
I've seen
5
stuff,
garbage cans, and we're like, come on, man, you need to get rid of some of that stuff. He's like, I don't have any extras. What do you mean you don't have any extras?
And if he had 6 garbage cans, he wouldn't have an extra.
That's right.
Right. There's this.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure. I don't think Quentin does that, but there is that whole theory of if you've got a certain budget, you can actually, which some people do, where they start buying multiple copies because the more they take out of the market. So if you own 6 of those, now they become more valuable. And then when you want something, you then drip feed it back into the market at a much higher price. So if you, instead of buying it because you need it, you buy it because I want to take that out and make that thing I've got more.
Well, I don't ever see Quentin sell, so I'm sure.
No, I'm not. Definitely not. Sorry, I wasn't saying Quentin. I'm just saying people do.
That's an interesting thing. That's a concept for sure.
So if you had money, if you could say, for instance, I'm sure that is how some of those. I've seen people, as we talked about, have multiple copies of the white double platinum, but I'm sure with each one that you find and buy, if you buy each copy now for $1,000 each, you may actually, by you owning 10 of them, turn it into a $10,000 item, because now they're not coming up in anything that's come out. You bought, you own it, and then you can now go, I'm putting it back in at 10 grand to buy something else I want. So you would have to have a good bank balance to do that. But I'm not saying I think that's ethical, but I mean, again, capitalism, you can do whatever the hell you want.
You can.
But it's, I don't know how people feel about that, but it is, I'm not sure that it happens that much in KISS collecting, but you technically, if you had an unlimited budget, you could do that and make a lot more money.
That's what they're doing now with the vinyls now. They're just buying like 15, 20 copies at a shot, and then they triple the price on it.
It's market manipulation.
Yeah, it's to the point where if you don't get it, you're not going to get it, unless you have the money for it. And it's frustrating because it makes it harder for the average collector who wants to collect, and it makes it difficult.
Purely because they love it, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but it frustrates me because I get a lot of people that come up to me and they want to collect. And I says, George, how do you do it? I said, you need to be on top of it right when you see it. If you wait and everything else, the train's going to pass you by, and you're going to have to wait or never get it again, because it's a rush market right now, because there's a lot of people who say they're Kiss fans and they're really not. They're just looking for the quick buck.
Mm.
And
that is true, my friend. There are a lot of people in our community that claim to be Kiss fans that are nothing but flippers.
Yep.
Nothing but flippers.
And you see it everywhere. And you see it. I see it all the time on Facebook. I see it. People come up to me and how much is this worth? I was like, aren't you just happy you have it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's like, don't you appreciate that item? That's a really cool item. Why would you want to sell it and cherish it? No, I want to see how much you can get for it. And I'm like, you know what?
Mm.
And that's right now where I see when I'm talking to collectors now, why they come up to me and everything is this value and how much. I pretty much just kind of shut them up. I'm here. You talk to me. I want to talk to you about appreciating that Kiss item, how rare it is, and how awesome it is to have it in your collection. And down the road, maybe I'll get it in my collection. But everything is his money right now, and it's
value certainly is an important part of the equation. But it's the stuff is worthless until George, you get rid of it.
Yeah.
Or I get rid of it, because it's it's gaining. Of course it's gaining value. Ostensibly, everything is gaining value, but really, you're not seeing any of that value until you actually cash it in. So it doesn't really matter,
Yeah.
You have to
and whatever the market, it's like shares, really. It's like, oh, I've lost all this money. Well, no, you haven't until you actually sell it. You either sell it at a time when it's low or sell it at a time when it's high. So it's the same thing as collectibles until you cash in on it. It's just, it's just
the value goes up and down, but but what you have is it doesn't matter.
See, that's why, like I said, my stuff, everyone's always on me like, man, George, the money that you have and the money you could be living and cars you could buy. And I'm like, I don't see it that way. I just see it as this is something that this makes me more happy than the money, sadly. When I get older down the road, maybe I'll change my mind. I doubt it. But right now, like I said, the value right now is having the items. And that's why I feel like I'm a true collector than some other people where it's like, yeah, I have it. Now let's find a place to sell it.
Yeah.
And you just got it not even a second ago, and you're already pawning it off to someone else for the quick buck. And it hurts because, like I said, there's a lot of people who want to be collectors, and they're seeing this right now and dealing with it, with the price gouging and all these groups and everything else, to the point where people are just not want to become collectors anymore because they feel like it's impossible.
Not even that they don't want to; they just can't.
They can't.
The point of it, the barrier of entry is too tough at this point.
Yes.
Like to even start buying stuff is hard.
Because, like I said, the prices for everything, especially if they're seeing it through that eyes of those groups and everything else, it's in hundreds of dollars, and it could be something that's be worth a few bucks for someone else to sell or actually give it to someone who sell it for a decent price. But right now, it's not like that.
I mean, we talked about this on another episode, George, but we talked about the age of Kiss collectors too, and that we're not seeing on any of these groups a lot of 20-year-olds coming in and purchasing. Like, you don't see young 20-year-olds, but maybe ones that are cashed up buying a lot of vintage merch. They're just not really coming through. So at some point, when people get to 60 or 65, as the Kiss thing ages, so maybe it's between 40 and 60 is most collectors. But as they get older, there's going to be a bunch of people who will then cash in, but possibly all around a similar time, because they'll all hit a certain age, and they'll go, oh, I'm just going to get rid of it now. I've had a Kiss room for 20 years, and now I think I might just, get rid of it. And you wonder whether prices are going through the roof now, but you wonder whether they will, because if everyone starts to get out of it at the one time, and there's no new blood coming through, I remember hearing that it's happened to Elvis merchandise. Elvis merchandise peaked at a certain point, and it was so expensive. I know the guy from the Wiggles, the original yellow Wiggle, he had one of the world's biggest Elvis collection. That's what he spent these millions on. And then now they're talking about it. It's like there's no new Elvis fans coming through, so they can't. It's not as valuable anymore. So they actually can't get their money back at a certain point.
But
interesting.
But those 20-year-olds are in the position that George was in. We all were in when we were 18, 19, or 20. We didn't have enough money to be able to buy this stuff. So maybe when they become 40, their dads collected, their uncles collected, their moms collected, whoever it was.
Yeah.
Maybe there's still some there. It's just hard to know.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the Beatles will go on indefinitely and forever. It just
Yeah.
depends on the staying power of some of these bands. Like I think we've talked about it before. You'll hear Frank Sinatra still play it on radio stations, but Elvis is this weird sort of anomaly that he doesn't really have a place where his type of music is being played. Yet still the Doors are being played all the time. Led Zeppelin's being played all the time. And so you just wonder how all that's going to shake out down the road,
Yeah, exactly.
My concern is the future of the merchandise when Kiss decides to hang it up. Because if you're seeing how the merchandise is changing now, it's not by name, it's all by characters.
Sure.
Or they're going like the Marvel route where anybody could be the demon now. Right? As long as it's Kiss and it's the demon, that's what it's going to be. So
it's like Blue Man Group.
Yeah, the Blue Man Group. So that's my concern, how the future it's going to be when it comes to the merchandise and how people are going to react to it and what merchandise will come out in the future. Will it be valuable? Will it hold up because of the situation where the band is if they do change members or if they do not continue and they're just going to be like the Beatles where they randomly see a couple new items here and there and that's it. So I'm just concerned on how the future of the merchandise is going to be when Kiss does stop playing. How is it going to end up? Are they going to be bought out by another company? Because I'm hearing that the Kiss name might be bought out by, let's say, Disney or something. Or what's going to happen? Is it going to have value to it, or is it going to be mocked up like Star Wars stuff, or it's going to be mass-produced crazy to the point where it's really hard to collect, or it's going to be impossible to collect anything Kiss like that, or if it's going to be impossible to collect any Kiss stuff because they'll stop producing as much.
Yeah.
So
I suppose with Star Wars, they continually to do the Mandalorian and all the new movies and and all that stuff. And Obi-Wan's coming. Disney's now so they got. If you go onto that Star Wars section of Disney Plus, it's like like it's like a whole Star Wars thing. So, but then once, as you said, once Kiss finish, there's not a whole lot of unless they do something. There's not a whole lot in driving a want for merchandise other than. People, but then I guess at the same time, like Pink Floyd aren't really an active band, and they're merchant. They still have merchandise through Epic Rights and stuff. I mean, they're not physically involved with it, but
it's why they're floating this idea of a perpetual band after Paul and Gene retire. Is you've got to have a vehicle that pushes the interest along for people to want to buy new stuff. And of course, I heard the same thing George did. Is they're toying with the idea. Gene's toying with the idea of selling their trademarks, and if they, because all these artists that are selling their catalogs now,
exactly.
Paul and Gene had already done, but what they have in value other than their catalog is they have their trademarks, and who buys that and continues to put out Kiss merchandise. But what keeps fueling the interest in that merchandise? There's got to be a vehicle that. And it would have to be a touring Kiss or a Vegas Kiss without Paul and Gene in it,
or some
like
event,
the Beatles' Reign or whatever that is.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or some event like Bohemian Rhapsody with Queen. Like they're technically not a touring band as the popular version of them, but they had Bohemian Rhapsody, so that keeps the love going. So if there becomes like a Kiss film or something or a Kiss musical, that could.
Sure.
At some point, keep the engagement going, even if they're not a band. If there's some pop culture thing or a hit movie which has a lot of their songs in it or something,
Something would have to happen if someone comes along and spends, $150 million on the Kiss trademark or whatever they, to own it, to release merchandise. They have to figure out something to, say Disney bought the Kiss trademark. When Kit and Paul and Gene are retired, they can do anything they want. They can put any band on the road, any show in Vegas, any movie on the screen.
And that's my worry because that could
animated series,
animated series or anything,
and that could really change the value of if it gets really accepted good or if it doesn't get accepted bad to the point where people are like, you know what, I'm done with Kiss, I'm done with my stuff.
Well, I think many of us old timers would be done at that point.
But then there goes, and then that's going to throw a big time rule on Kiss items because people are to be selling their stuff in traits, and
Yeah.
you might lose value.
But it,
And like it's
Do you think that George? Do you think that would be a reaction of people? Do you think that if they had a Kiss 2.0, which none of the original members in, would the reaction of the fans be that I'm selling everything because I'm so angry at this, or would they just go, oh, who cares? I'm still going to keep.
Well, people started doing that when Eric and Tommy started joining the band. I remember people
just
just selling their stuff.
selling
They're just
everything.
like, I'm done with the band. And they started selling their stuff, and people just like, I'm done with this. I'm not going to deal with another Vinny or another Eric Carr situation. So people started going around. But I like I said, I don't know. It depends on who they decide to choose or the route that they take, because that's going to be a big gamble.
I don't think that any Kiss 2.0 or just what we were just saying, that if somebody buys the trademark and continues to make those vehicles, I don't think that's geared towards us at all. I think that's geared towards new blood, younger kids to buy merchandise of something that's brand new to them.
And that's why you see everything now with the Spaceman, the Demon, everything else. It's not by the Kiss members. It's by the characters. Yeah. Everything is character driven. And you see the shirts, everything is all characters, not the name. Yeah. You don't see Gene Simmons anymore. Yeah, you see some items, but
right. They're not going to give a shit about the 60-year-olds.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're going to be going to that and
try to market to kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And who knows how the market's going to be received that way and what merchandise will come
out. I suppose like Star Wars, isn't it? I mean, I know when I go into like a Big W or a store like that, and there's a whole lot of Star Wars stuff. But then it's funny, like the kids walk past, they go, "Oh, Grogu," and they pick up the little baby Yoda, as he's also known as. Right. They're picking up that, and you go, because they've not, even though that shows probably I shouldn't be watching because I still am. I shouldn't be showing them it, but they enjoyed it anyway. But they suddenly, the newer stuff that's marketed to them. And when my kids sometimes put on, which annoys the hell out of me, but they go and say, "Oh, we want to watch a Star Wars." I go, "Cool." And they go, "Oh, I love Attack of the Clones. That's so good. It's awesome." And I'm going, "But oh no, but the originals." And they're like, "It's a little bit slow." For them, it's not. It doesn't engage them the way.
No,
I think Attack of the Clones is dreadful. And Revenge of the Sith, but they like it because it looks more like a modern movie. It's aimed at their generation. And they like it. I'm going, "Oh, it's so bad," but I have to just go, "Well, that's what they enjoy,
And that's their nostalgia.
That's their nostalgia.
It can get, or it will be their nostalgia. I remember watching that with my dad when I was a little kid. No different than us,
I mean, they don't hate the original, but they're not. They're just. They would, if you said you have to put on a Star Wars film, they would probably choose the original three less, because to them it feels like an old film.
Right.
Yeah. It's just interesting, and I think it goes to new collection, old collection, and what we think as older people is not what young kids will think and stuff. So yeah.
Well, George, keep collecting. However anybody collects, we've said it a million times. Yeah. Keep doing what you're doing. We're not against any of that stuff, and and enjoy what you enjoy. That's all. That
Make
matters.
sure you visit.
Yeah, there's my website, George.
That's his website.
Pretty much everything I post on there is pretty much everything I have in my collection. I pretty much kind of take like detailed images of the packaging and letting you know that what's on there is actually official. You'll see like the Kiss catalog logos and the year that it came out and all that stuff. So you see it in more detail than if you're looking for something to buy, at least you can see it there in detail. I also do have an Instagram, also too, same name, a Twitter. Also too. So
that name is, for you listening, georgeskisscollection.com.
Yeah. And George briefly got banned for
Epic Rights
trademark by Epic Rights, didn't you? Yeah. You had to talk them into allowing you to continue.
Well, because I had an original site before this one, and it was pretty much like I just do something in the bed and take a picture of it, upload it, and make it look all rough, whatever. And then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go fancy and everything else. I saw Nicholas's page is all nice and clean, and I'm gonna try to steal a little bit of his page a little bit in my new website. And I got a white box, I got a nice camera, I started taking professional kind of pictures to the point where it looked like they were actually stock images of the products.
Yeah.
I guess Epic Rights thought that I was stealing their images and selling it, which I wasn't, and they pretty much shut me down on my Facebook and all my pages, and they thought I was using their images to sell, which I wasn't.
Yeah.
So it got pretty ugly for a couple of days.
I remember when all that happened because they went through a tear on several sites.
Yeah.
They actually got Click Tea Shop for selling Kiss My Collectibles merchandise.
Yeah. Yeah, you too.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I had, we had to go to we had to go to them and say, now hold on, now that's not a Kiss logo. We own that. That was designed and it's actually trademarked. And what are you doing? So
I had to go back and forth with Epic Rights to show images of me taking the pictures of the items to show proof. And I guess they put me as an antique collector, as they call it, and they whitelisted my name. So now I don't have to worry about it for the future.
Yeah.
So,
but yet they let all of the counterfeiters through all the time. Nothing ever happens to the counterfeiters. It's always the guys playing by the rules.
Yeah.
And who are actually acting as a resource for them and their product.
Yes. I was promoting their stuff for free, showing the image, what they came out, and details.
You were promoting them.
Yeah, I was promoting the band free.
And more to the point, you own that stuff. You are taking photos of stuff that you have paid them money for.
Yeah,
and you're not selling anything.
I didn't even understand their attack on you, George, because you can, by law, take photos of your own items and show them.
I'm sorry.
It's no different than I go outside and take a picture of my car and put it on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
I think it's because it kind of looked too like a stock image.
It is funny that once you started taking the better pictures, I'm not surprised, and then you got flagged not that long after you were doing that, because you took it to the next level in terms of quality with the light tent and stuff. But interesting.
Ridiculous.
We're not going to do anything good, but neither are you.
That's what they're like.
Good montage.
All right. Well, George, that was an interesting discussion, man, and I appreciate you joining us and talking all about your collection. And it's a fun time. So
awesome.
I guess we'll wrap it up, fellas. And any final I didn't even get to finish the show.
I thought you were finished. So. And then
that's what makes
talking.
it great.
Okay.
Son of a bitch.
Like you.
Okay.
All right.
Keep going.
Just say it. Just say it.
No, I don't.
Say it.
Just say it.
We'll
Go
see you on that.
I'm out of here.
I had it waiting, ready to go.
You bastard.
No, say it. No, I won't do it this time. My hands are up.
Yeah, look, we'll see you on the next one.